I stepped onto my back lot that morning, and for a moment, I thought I was in the wrong place, because the land I had maintained for years was completely unrecognizable. Where there had once been clean soil and natural grass, there was now a massive pile of debris. Broken concrete, rusted metal, and chunks of asphalt were scattered everywhere. The ground was torn apart with deep tire marks cutting across my property, and that's when it hit me. This wasn't random, this was intentional. Someone had entered my land, removed part of my fence, and used it like a dumping site. And the worst part was, they didn't even try to hide it. When I finally found out who was responsible, I honestly couldn't believe it. It wasn't some random contractor, it was the HOA next door. I called them expecting an explanation or at least an apology. But instead, the president told me I should be thankful for what they had done. She said they were improving the area and adding value to my property. That was the exact moment I stopped arguing and started preparing. My name is Garrett, and I've spent nearly 30 years working as a civil engineer. I don't deal in opinions. I deal in facts, measurements, and documentation. I bought this property back in 2009 when it was nothing but quiet land. For over a decade, I maintained every inch of it myself. I designed the drainage, leveled the ground, and kept everything structured. To me, this wasn't just land. It was a system I built with precision. Everything stayed peaceful until 2021, when construction began next door. A new development appeared, and with it, an HOA. At first, I didn't think it would affect me at all. Their land was theirs, and mine was mine. But slowly, small signs started appearing that something was wrong. Heavy equipment tracks began showing up on my property. The ground started to feel different under my feet. It was compacted, disturbed, like it had been used. Then one morning, I saw it happen with my own eyes. A dump truck drove straight through my land and unloaded debris. I didn't rush out or create a scene. I just stood there, watching everything carefully. And then I did something most people wouldn't think of doing. I pulled out my phone and started recording everything. When calling them didn't work, I changed my strategy. Instead of arguing, I decided to build evidence. I installed motion-activated cameras across the property. Every angle was covered, every movement recorded. Then I started logging every single detail. Dates, times, number of trucks, and type of material. Over the next 2 weeks, it kept happening again and again. Quietly, repeatedly, like they assumed no one was paying attention. By the time I finished calculating, the total shocked even me. They had dumped over 20 tons of debris on my land. That's when I realized this wasn't just disrespect. This was a calculated decision, and a big mistake. So I called someone I trusted completely, a professional surveyor who doesn't miss anything. He came out, ran a full inspection, and confirmed my suspicions. But then he told me something even more serious. Part of that debris wasn't just on my property. It had crossed into a county-controlled drainage easement. And that changes everything. Because now, this wasn't just a personal issue anymore. At the same time, something unexpected happened. The HOA sent me a violation notice. They claimed my structures didn't meet their standards. They were trying to enforce rules I never agreed to. That's when I checked the official records, and what I found was unbelievable. They had included my property in their HOA filings, without my permission, without my signature. That wasn't a mistake. That was a legal problem. And now, they had gone too far. So I hired a lawyer and built a case, not with emotions, but with solid evidence. We filed for removal from their HOA control. We filed for damages from illegal dumping. And most importantly, we reported the easement violation. That single move changed everything overnight. The county stepped in immediately. Inspections were done, and orders were issued. Construction across the entire development came to a halt. Machines stopped, workers left, and everything froze. And suddenly, the same people who ignored me were calling non-stop. They wanted to resolve the situation quickly. They offered cleanup, compensation, and corrections. But by then, it wasn't just about fixing the land. It was about accountability. It was about showing them actions have consequences. Then something happened that sealed their fate. At a public meeting, the HOA president made a statement. She admitted they had approved using my land, and she said it on record, in front of everyone. That one moment changed everything completely, because now the intent was proven. From there, the case moved fast, evidence piled up, and the truth became undeniable. Eventually, they settled. Full cleanup, full payment, and legal corrections. Every piece of debris was removed. Every inch of my land was restored. When I walked across it again, it felt different. Not because it changed, but because I defended it. Here's what most people get wrong. Winning isn't about shouting louder. It's about being smarter, calmer, and more prepared. It's about knowing your rights better than they know their power. Because real power doesn't come from authority. It comes from knowledge and control. So if you ever face something like this, remember one thing. Don't react emotionally. React strategically. Document everything. Record everything. Because in the end, facts don't argue. They win. And the people who think you won't fight back are always the ones who regret it the most.